So, do you need a freelance writing portfolio website? Well, I don't know. Do I need this stupid, expensive, big YouTube light? Well, I don't need it, but it certainly makes my job easier and more effective by having it. And that's what we're talking about today. Not YouTube lights, but freelance writing portfolio websites. We're going to cover everything you need to know to build and create an effective portfolio website. We're going to talk about your samples and what type of samples you need. And we're also going to cover whether or not you even need this website to begin with. Like I said, it can make your life easier, but it might not be a perfect fit for everybody. And I'm going to tell you why in just a little bit. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm going to tell you the absolute most important thing every freelance writing website needs. That sounds good? Stay tuned. All right, so let's start with the basics right now. What is a freelance writing portfolio website? It's pretty simple. A writing portfolio is a website where you have samples of your writing work. So when you're reaching out and you're applying for freelance jobs, that person can easily go back and say, oh, this person's a terrible writer. I'm not going to hire them. But hopefully what's going to happen is they're going to look at your samples and they're going to look at your website and they're going to see, oh yeah, this person's great. I totally need to hire them. And that's what a freelance writing portfolio can do for you. It basically is your sales page for your services. Okay, so real quick, something you should know, if you are in the process of building your portfolio or you are just about to get started, go to locationrebel.com. We've got a link right below. It'll also be probably up here. I can never get my hands right which side it's on. It's a checklist of all of the things you need on your writing portfolio. I think it's going to be super helpful to go through this and make sure you've got all of these things, because if you do, it's going to make your portfolio way more effective and make it more likely for you to actually get the jobs you want. Okay, so now you know what a writing portfolio is. You might be saying, wait, you mean I have to set up a website? That sounds difficult and technical, but it doesn't have to be. That's the good news. There's essentially two ways I would recommend going about creating a freelance website. The first one is WordPress. That is what I've always used. WordPress is a CMS, a content management system. Most hosting providers these days, you literally join, you sign up for your hosting, you hit a button, it installs WordPress for you, and you're pretty much good to go. You can get a premium theme, you can make it look nice and custom, and it's great. And in an afternoon, you can set up your website. So why do I recommend WordPress over other services? Because if you're trying to grow beyond just having a writing portfolio, let's say you want to add a blog and you want to start getting search traffic, or you want to start selling your own products on top of your services on there, WordPress is going to make it way easier than any other platform in order to expand to do that. It's also one of the most search-friendly platforms there is out there. So I found that WordPress sites have the potential to rank much higher in Google than some of the other options that are out there. And if that sounds too technical for you, then the second option I would recommend is Squarespace. Squarespace is a website builder. You're going to spend probably $10-20 a month for access to a Squarespace website, but it's going to be even easier to set up than WordPress. And if all you're trying to do is have like an about page, have your rates, have some writing samples, then Squarespace is going to be a really easy way to create a good looking website, but over the long term, it might be a little bit more expensive than WordPress, and it also might be a little bit less flexible down the road if you decide you want to grow your site. All right, real quick, before I go further on this whole writing portfolio thing, I want to take a quick side note, because some of you, even with those two options that are pretty easy to do, you might be thinking, oh my, setting up a website, like, that's too much work, that's scary, I don't want to do that. And then you just give up freelance writing altogether. So like I said, having a writing portfolio is nice. Just like having this light is nice. I don't have to like set up using natural light in the windows and everything. It makes my life easier to have this light. It will make your life easier to have a portfolio where you can show off your skills. But if you are getting hung up on this website, it is far more important to start doing your cold outreach. Start reaching out to people, sending letters of introduction, building relationships so that you are going to potentially get clients. You can still do this even if you don't have a portfolio website. And a lot of people, what I've found is they get so hung up on the website and the details and getting it perfect that months go on without them actually taking any action towards getting jobs. And then they say, well, freelance writing's impossible. Like, this is all too hard and too complex. I can't, like, nobody can make money freelance writing. If you're finding yourself getting that hung up on the website, forget the website for a while. Just start your outreach, start your marketing. That is going to be far more important. So a question you probably have when it comes to a writing portfolio is, how many samples do I need? And the short answer is like 3 to 5. You don't necessarily need any more than 3 to 5 samples. The longer answer is changing your mindset around what a sample is. At this point, every word you write on your writing portfolio is essentially a sample. Your about page is a sample. How you create your contact page, or perhaps your rate page or your home page, everything you write is a sample. This is an example of the writing, of your personality, of what you're able to do. So keep that in mind as you're creating your portfolio. But if you're just thinking in terms of samples, then I would say 3 to 5 is an excellent starting point, which then leads us to the question of what should your samples be about? Well, the obvious answer is your samples should be about whatever type of freelance writing you do. Are you a freelance copywriter? Great, give some examples of some sales pages you've written, some ads you've written, some product descriptions you've written. Are you a content generalist? Cool, then have 3 to 5 blog posts about very, very different topics in different styles, in different formats, so that the potential client can see, oh, not only can this person be versatile with the types of writing they can do, but they can also be versatile with the types of content and the niches and the industries that we give them. So if your potential client is an agency and they've got a dozen different clients they need writing done for, and they can look at your writing portfolio and say, oh man, this person can clearly, write about a lot of different topics in a lot of different industries, that's going to give you a big leg up. Or perhaps as a freelance writer, you're super niche and you are really focused on just finance or just healthcare or just technology. And if that's the case, that's great. Share samples from that industry. You don't want to market yourself as a healthcare provider and then be writing golf articles in your samples. I think that's pretty obvious, but I've learned some of the things that I think are obvious, not always so obvious. Now here's one of the common hangups that people tend to have when it comes to their writing portfolio. It's, should you put your rates on your portfolio? There is no correct answer. You can put your rates on there, be just fine. You could not put your rates on there, also be just fine. Here's my take on it. Personally, I don't like to put rates on my freelance portfolio because I want to open up everything to a conversation. So I don't want someone to look at the rates and be like, whoa, 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 no, that's way too expensive. Or, now that's way too cheap. This person must be a terrible writer. I would rather start the conversation, figure out what it is they're looking for, and then put together a custom proposal based on what they need. If they need 100 articles over the course of the next 2 months, then I might charge a little bit less for it because they're ordering so many in bulk. If they need a very detailed sales page that's going to take me 80 hours to write, well, then I'm going to charge a little bit more for it because it's going to be so time and intellectually taxing in order to do it. And as soon as you put your rates on there, then all of a sudden you lose some of that freedom and some of that flexibility in order to customize for a specific client. For me, the big argument for putting your rates up there is basically you can save a bunch of time, because if somebody can see, oh, this person's way too expensive for me, or oh, it's not the right fit, or oh, it's too cheap, then they can see that immediately, end the conversation, and move on. But also, because they're likely going to end the conversation there, you don't get the chance to build that rapport, sell your services, and get that client. So that's why generally I don't put specific rates on my portfolio page. Finally, that super, super important thing, I said every freelance writing portfolio needed. That's what we're talking about right now. And that is, can you guess, it's one word: personality. Yes, your writing portfolio should have personality. So often I find new freelancers and even experienced freelancers, they're just trying to come across super professional and super important and formal. And you know what that leads to? Blah, meh. Nothing good. Like, if you're hiring a writer, you want to see them have a point of view. You want to see them have personality. You want to know that they can write with passion and be engaging and interesting. But a lot of times, new freelance writers, they try and be so formal and so professional and be business owners now that they forget to put in all of that personality. What ends up happening is most freelancers, they're trying to please everybody. They're trying to make everybody like them. But by doing that, they're making nobody love them. They're making nobody say, oh my God, this is the person I need. A great example of this is Ashley Amberger. Ashley's got a site called The Middle Finger Project. She's one of those people that 80, maybe 90% of potential clients out there, not gonna be a good fit to work with Ash. But the 10% of people that do, they're like, holy crap, like, it doesn't matter how much you charge, you are the only person I want to work with. So you don't necessarily need to be quite that polarizing, but have a little bit of personality. Don't be afraid to show who you are and how you can be different than the other freelance writer down the street on your portfolio website. So there you go. If you're a freelance writer, you're thinking about becoming a freelance writer, you should also probably think about putting together your writing portfolio as well. It's going to make your life a lot easier. It's going to make it easier to get jobs, even if it seems a little bit daunting to get going. I promise you, it's not as bad as you think, and you should give it a go. But If you give it a go and it does prove to be too daunting, then forget about it for a while, start reaching out, letters of introduction, pitches, get going with the marketing of your business. My name's Sean Ogle. I'm the founder of this thing here at Location Rebel, where we teach you how to build a business online with your words. If you want to be a freelance writer, if you want to be a blogger, an affiliate marketer, whatever it is, if you want to write on the internet and get paid for it and be able to do it from anywhere on earth, that's what we help you do. So make sure to go check out locationrebel.com/FWG. We put together a freelance writer guide, a free 6-day course that's going to walk you through everything you need to know to get started with your freelance writing business. And if you got some value out of this, do the old thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. We got new videos a couple times a week. I think you're going to dig it if you are trying to build that type of business. Go watch this right here if you're not sure what to watch next. And with that one, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day. Peace.